Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Puna Geothermal Venture third quarterly meeting. I'm Dana Butler at Hastings and Cleveland, and I'll be doing some of the, just going over the agenda and some rules of engagement. Today we will have Mike Kellikini doing the opening. The PGV facility update will be by Zach Adachi. We'll have a County of Hawaii update from Jennifer Myers. We will have a Q&A session prior to the meeting's end. Currently, the next quarterly meeting for the year, which will be the last one, is November 14th, 2023. The project updates will be presented first. We ask that you hold your questions until everyone's presentation is completed. There will be plenty of time to ask questions. We do have questions that people can submit in advance through our website, and we have received some of those today. So we'll go over those questions during the Q&A portion of the meeting as well. The session is being recorded, and it will be shared on PGV's website after the meeting. We have a meeting code of conduct. We ask that everybody follow it. Please give the presenters the courtesy to speak uninterrupted. There will be plenty of time at the end to ask your questions. During the Q&A, we will switch between questions asked live and questions that we received in advance. Once everyone has had the opportunity to ask a question, additional questions may be allowed. Be respectful. Disruptive conduct that disturbs the orderly conduct of the meeting will not be tolerated. Any behavior that threatens the safety of another person will not be tolerated. Abusive language will not be tolerated. And failure to comply with the code of conduct may result in your removal from the meeting. We thank everyone in advance for their cooperation and participation.
What is the website? It's going to be shown up?
Puna Geothermal Project.com. It'll be on the next slide.
Okay. There we go.
Yeah. And you can always submit questions in advance through the website. We also have a toll-free response line that's available 24/7. If you'd like to call.
So when would you expect to have the video on the website?
It's usually up within a week. And I will turn it over to Mike Kellikini for opening remarks.
Oh, thank you, Dana. Aloha kako, everyone. Thank you for taking the time to attend our quarterly meeting.
Aloha.
Aloha, Steve. Yeah, it was nice to see all of you. Some interesting times going on. You guys know, with all the heat and the fires and stuff, so a lot of activity going on. However, we wanted to provide all of you with an update on what's going on at Puna Geothermal Venture. Today we have, Dana mentioned, we'll have Zach, so we'll be around. Looks like we'll have a lot of time for Q&A, and we look forward to that. And so, without further ado, I want to ask Zach Adachi to come up. Zach is our operations supervisor at PGV. He's going to provide us with an update. Jordan couldn't make it, but he sends his aloha.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Zach Adachi. I'm the operations supervisor at PGV. For our plan update, currently we have 6 units online right now, 3 production wells in service, 2 injection wells in service. I believe our monthly average to date is right around 17.25 megawatts net out the door. Currently it's just operation as normal, no drilling going on, and we're just keeping up with maintenance, making sure we have 3 units in standby at all times, so we're doing preventive maintenance on that, and just regular preventive maintenance throughout the rest of the plant.
When you say 3 units, you mean 3 wells on standby?
3 units on standby.
Generators.
Yeah.
Generator?
The unit is a generator.
powered by geothermal?
Yes, powered by geothermal. So we have 12 total units, but 3 are in standby. And also I thank Jan Myers for all participating and coming out and spending time with us. Thank you for coming, Jan.
Of course.
Taking over.
Aloha mai kako. Great news today, a couple really great things to share with you. First off, how many of you go to our Revitalized Puna events that are quarterly? Okay, like a couple, that's cool. Darlene loving it, a couple of frequent faces, I'm so here for that. For those of you that aren't, it's a wonderful opportunity for you to connect with your government. The mayor is there, Zendo Kern, the planning director is there, I'm there, Department of Water Supply. We've got folks from all over the county that are there to connect with you. We're also working on getting some state representatives there as well. It's basically just a day where you come out to the gym up top. Again, it'll be October 21st, so a little less than 2 months from now. We'll be doing some really good things. Stay with our social media. Basically just follow Kilauea Recovery. We've got everything from TikTok to Instagram. We're going to be talking about everything coming up with that over the next 2 months, including the theme, some of our special guests that we'll be having. It's going to be a great event. Second, our voluntary housing buyout program, still making great progress. We've disseminated about $55 million at this point, which is incredible if you think about it. That's 275 families that have gotten financial assistance after the 2018 eruption, after their homes were taken by the volcano. So this is great progress. We're really proud of it. We'll be wrapping up phase 1 of our project, which is those who lost their primary homes. We're hoping to wrap that up here in the next couple of months and then moving on to phase 2, hopefully early next year. So phase 2, of course, for those of you who don't know, that's vacation rentals, secondary homes. And then phase 3 comes after that, and those are folks who had property, but they didn't have structures on that property, who still lost their property and would like for the county to take that over. That way we can help mitigate future issues when it comes to eruptions and also help manage those properties as open spaces. We acquire the rest of the properties as well. And then third, and most importantly, our draft EA. Does anyone know the draft EA news? It is out. We are so happy about it. I know when I was talking to you guys last time, I was talking about how frustrated we were as a county that we were coming on 6 months of delays. That draft EA is for the roads and water line projects, so that includes Poiki Road, portions of 137, Four Corners. Hot button topic with everybody. I know we want to get the roads back up. It looks like we'll be breaking ground Q1 of next year, so we're thinking February, March. We are trying to kind of schmooze things along a little and see if we can't break ground a little bit earlier, but the point is that we're on it. We've made progress. We're still in the comment period right now for that draft EA. It's 30 days long. Began earlier in August and will go until September 5th, which is a week from now. So you still have a week to still do your public comments. We encourage those. If you're looking for any information on where to do that, come find me. I will give you our website. We've got plenty of places for you not only to read that draft EA, learn more about what we're doing and some of the projects we've got going on, but also the choices that we have moving forward once it is complete. So that's it for me. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. And if you have any questions, come find me and I've got cards for you.
Thank you, Jan. And thank you, Zach. So we're going to move right on into the Q&A. And I'm going to start off by going over the questions that we received online. We'll wait for Emily to ask. This way.
Hey, aloha.
Wow. Welcome, thank you for coming. So, starting off on questions, so Corey sent in several questions, and I'll read them off so everyone knows what the questions were, and we'll get into the answers. So what Corey wrote is, because of the Maui fires, Hawaiian Electric Industries is losing investors and facing multiple lawsuits. They cannot borrow money to deal with the situation because they now have junk bond status. And all these questions are related for Hawaiian Electric. And these questions are most appropriately answered by Hawaiian Electric, not PGV. Yeah, we feel for what's going on there, and our thoughts, our prayers are with everybody there. But questions for Hawaiian Electric should be answered by Hawaiian Electric, not PG.
You're aware of the power purchase agreement, have they said anything to you, Hawaiian Electric, about not doing a power purchase agreement?
No, we're continuing to discuss the power purchase agreement. You're referring to the 46 megawatt power purchase agreement?
Yeah.
The repowering?
I think so,
Yeah.
yeah.
So Zach mentioned, your question was how many megawatts was produced on a daily average? It was 17, a little bit over 17.
Look at that.
What is your contract?
Our contract is for 38
That's currently?
currently, today, for August. Next question is, how many wells have been put into service? How many new wells have been put into service for production since the eruption? And it's been 4 new wells, Corey. The next question, how much has PGV spent on drilling since the eruption? A lot.
How many zeros?
At least 3, 6, more than, at least 6 zeros.
6 zeros at least.
Yeah, guarantee 6 zeros, and then there's numbers to the left of that comma. I can't disclose the exact number. Okay, and Corey is asking what drilling is planned. Currently, we've completed those 4 new wells. Actually, we've completed 2 other wells that is in standby and in the process of being connected to the plant. But right now, drilling is on pause.
Do you anticipate more drilling in the future?
Oh, definitely. It's
How
just
long away though? Years or months?
year, month, at the very least, quarters.
Great, cool. Thank you.
At the very least.
Perfect.
So once we get these 2 new wells connected, we'll have a better feel for how the plant performs, and then based on that, we'll make decisions as to what our next step should be.
Thank you.
Yes.
How many acres are in this?
Acres. So we lease 815 acres, privately owned land, but we use a little over 40 acres of the 815.
So you have like a buffer zone,
Excuse me?
like a buffer zone.
Yes. In addition to the lava that's buffed around us. Yeah. Okay, Corey's next question. So you're asking about the current draft agreement with Hawaiian Electric, which includes higher capacity charges in order to cover drilling costs. So you are correct. We have submitted an amendment request to increase costs, but these are due to overall costs like supply chain, raw materials, shipping, everything since pre-COVID has gone up in an order of 30 to 40 to 50%. So yes, drilling costs has gone up, but everything else has gone up. Next question, will PGV improve monitoring for hydrogen sulfide if County Council recommends this? And from PGV's perspective, we will work with all government agencies. And currently, the monitoring for hydrogen sulfide is regulated by the Department of Health, Clean Air Branch. So we'll work with county, state, federal, whatever, whatever decisions or considerations that come up, we'll definitely work with them.
You're not committing to changing the monitoring of county council.
Well, I haven't So I can commit, we'll reveal to what the county council may offer, but I don't know what they're offering or what they're wanting us to do yet. But we'll definitely look at it. Next question. Does PGV support an alert system, including sirens, messages by text, phone, radio, and TV for hydrogen sulfide releases?
We support the alert system, I mean, that the county of Hawaii utilizes. I get all the alerts. If the county wants to use that as an alert system, we'd be happy to help out in that area.
So if the county decides to want silent system, would be from the help, the folks would be in agreement with that?
Yeah, whatever the county decides the best, we would be in agreement, yes, absolutely. Yeah, because, you know, when people talk about emergency plans, emergency response, etc., just to be clear, PGV is responsible for everything inside of the fence, right? Because we have no authority to tell people out in the community what to do. We share what is going on internally with the authorities, so the fence, the OH, etc. And based on that information, that's where alerts will be provided.
Who would be responsible for making changes that are response plan? For instance, like quenching of the wells, things of that nature. Like who would ultimately be the deciding factor on making changes or removing active things?
Yeah. So if it's the emergency response plan for PGV, the PGV is responsible to make those changes.
So like let's say the community wanted to take out the response of quenching wells and things of that nature, then who would they talk to at PGV in order to start reviewing those changes or make that request?
I would be the first person you can talk to. Yeah, definitely. Okay. Yeah, yes, ma'am.
What's the exact composition of what's being injected into the ground, Mr. Lava?
The exact composition of what's being injected is what is coming up. Everything that comes up is being re-injected back into the ground. There are some additional chemicals we use for oxygen scavenging, anti-rusting, so to prevent the piping from failing. But all of the heat and hot water, all of the minerals that are re-injected came from the production resource. So it comes up with lots of heat. We use that heat to generate electricity. The fluids are cooler and it's rerouted into re-injection, which is located apart from where the hot fluids are produced.
So, you know, I just want to, whatever this lady said in the back, about, you know, you said that they're putting down stuff to keep the wells not rusted and all of that, right?
Yes,
And what is that stuff called?
oxygen scavenger.
Yeah, and the thing's no good, right?
Well, it's, if you
It can
don't
burn your
use,
skin, it can do stuff to
all
you.
chemicals are no good. It depends on how you use it. Yeah.
You know why? Because 50 years ago, my husband drove the truck, HKE. Them guys did the stuff falling down there.
Yeah.
My husband was dressed up in a white suit because that burned his skin.
Yes.
And so we've been injecting that baby down the well for 50 years. It's about how long you guys been here?
30.
No, where he came. I was born here, I know where they came from and when we came. Not 30, almost 50. Because I lost a child 47 years ago. So brother, you know, I don't know who gave all the question, but one of my biggest
So,
concerns.
Emily,
Yes.
let me finish all the questions
you
with
still have
respect
all
to,
of it.
yeah,
Okay.
let me finish.
All right.
And then everybody else will have a chance.
All right.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you. So the next one, and it's not too many more, it's about a dozen or so. So alert system. Okay, and the last one you had, no, I missed one. What discussions has PGV had with Councilmember Ashley Kirkowitz regarding emergency planning? We have not had any detailed discussions about emergency planning, but we talk about emergency planning on a regular basis. We talked to her a lot on the revitalized Puna, and trying to help everybody with the recovery from 2018. And that's an ongoing, continued partnership. So any emergency planning in the future, will definitely, I'll mention to Councilwoman Kirkowitz that there is interest in that.
So what you just said about that question. You know, the thing is, I revitalizing Puna, but we're not taking care of the massive problem. Yeah, so that's what I see. Because if there's danger to our people here in Puna, we don't know what we're going to do, right? We don't know where we're going to run, and with the problem with the traffic now, just daily going to school is a problem, right? So we really got to know where the hell we're going to run. Because as a native Hawaiian, you know, I want to make sure I know where I'm going to run. I don't know what about you guys, but I know that I like to know what is my way out. Yeah, and so, and if Ashley is our council lady, and we never talk too much about that situation, it's a very important situation.
I agree. So I would urge everyone to continue to reach out to Ashley.
Yeah,
To bring that topic to the front,
yeah.
right? And
All
looking
right,
at,
we're trying to do that, all right, okay.
I'll help out too if I can.
All right, thank you.
Okay, this last question. It says Mike Kalikini is on the Hawaiian Homes Commission and was part of this permitted interactive group that recommended Department of Hawaiian Homelands partner with a private enterprise to develop geothermal on Mauna Kea. So to avoid conflict of interest, will ORMAT and PGV pledge that they will not seek to profit from any such development? And so because my employment is with PGV and ORMAT, I would recuse myself for any of the pertinent discussion with ORMAT or PGV.
So format, if there's any drilling in Mauna Kea, format, PGV would not be involved in it.
I would not be involved because I'm on the interactive group and I'm on the commission.
But PGV or format might be involved.
Who knows? I mean, it's far off as possible, but I would not be because I am in a position to make decisions.
So, Mike.
Well, let me finish.
Okay, but that question is the one. I know you like to finish, but that's why I came here today.
That's
I'm
fine.
a in Hawaii. That question gets cleared up, and that's the question I'm here for.
Okay, we'll get to it.
All right, yes.
Corey, you done? Corey?
Yes.
Okay, you'll have your chance.
Yes, I will. I know I will.
Okay. The next two questions are from online from Nikki Conti. So, Nikki mentions that Hawaii County's dark sky ordinances, the fact that our rigs have been up and lighted continuously, month after month, why are you not doing anything to mitigate the light pollution coming from the plant? So, Nikki, are you here? No. Anyway, so we, PGV, have to comply with the county lighting ordinances, right? And part of that is we are required to use low sodium lights. We don't have these bright, these look like LED, but it's all the yellow lighting, right? So we have to comply with that. In addition, we always try our best making sure that the lights aren't pointed outward in the outward direction to the nearby neighborhoods. And her second question.
Like, do you shield your lights?
We do shield lighting, so yes. You know, besides, you know, concern with the community, there was also concern about the new shearwater. Have you folks ever seen any flying around?
You know, we've been watching for them, we haven't seen them yet.
Have you seen them before the eruption?
Not in our neighborhood, but in other neighborhoods, yeah.
Yeah, we haven't, I haven't seen them, yeah, since the eruption. Okay, Nikki's last question. When was the last time the plant actually produced 38 megawatts, and how long did that period last? So the last time PGV was at 38 megawatts was all of 2017, and all of 2018 until the eruption started, which was May of 2018.
And that's the only time in 30 years.
So in 30 years, we didn't always have a 38 megawatt contract. It started off at 25, then it went to 30, and then in 2012 is when we went to 38.
Right. And for 16 months, you were at 38, and that's the only time.
There was other months before that, but I just went back to the solid year that we were at 38. Okay, this is from Sarah Steiner. I don't see Sarah. Okay. So Sarah was asking if PGV has applied for a modification to the air permit to go to 46 megawatts. And our answer is no, we have not. And her next question is, why does PGV continue to leave the 3 hydrogen sulfide monitors upwind and uphill when the wind doesn't blow after you've been told about being gassed? And she's saying we need to move them downwind and downhill to where they might actually pick up the H2S gassing us. So just for everyone's knowledge, the stations that are installed to monitor PGV was a work that was collaboration between the air department and PGV staff to find the best locations post-eruption. So now that hopefully the road will be built, the Pohiki Road will be opened again, there will be ample consideration to install or move stations in that direction. Because right now, you guys who've been out there, all it is the big Fissure 8 River and all the lava that went to Pohiki south of us.
There's plenty of locations on the plant grounds now that would satisfy those requirements without any new roads.
We're going to put it on the boundary, which is further out from where we're at right now.
Not worry about safety.
No, safety is number one, Larry.
Well, then you wouldn't put them right on the boundary. You'd put them in a place where the hydrogen sulfide is going to travel.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Mike,
Yes, Steve.
would Cormac be willing to bring in an outside consultant to consult on the placement of the monitors?
So
Wouldn't that be a good thing for satisfying these people?
an outside consultant actually was used to give us information to go to DOH and ask them, what do you guys think? And then of course they have expertise in monitoring. So they have in-house staff that are knowledgeable on placement. We're not the only facility that would need to be looked, placement be looked at.
So that report would be online somewhere? You think?
I don't think it's online, but I can follow up with DOH.
That'd be great.
Just out of curiosity, like any of the other geothermal plants that Format has, like where do they place their hydrogen sulfide monitors? Do they also place them on the boundary, or are there any plants where they actually place them closer in?
Yeah. Good question. You're Ben.
Ben.
Ben, sorry Ben. You're Ben too. Are you Ben? David? Okay. Great memory. Ben, sorry. Well, I know you're from Massachusetts. Okay, good. 1 for 3. So, to answer your question, Ben, we, PGV, are the only geothermal plant that has monitoring stations around the facility.
Why is that?
We volunteered to put them in as part of doing the project.
Is that also because you're so close to residential homes?
It's because in case there's an emergency, there's a release, we want to make sure. So whoever's around, and that'll completely help.
And then the seismic monitoring, like is that going to come online anytime soon? To actually be able to monitor any earthquakes being caused?
You mean, which size of monitoring?
I mean, there's geothermal plants that have seismic monitoring.
Yeah, we do. Let me finish these questions. We'll
Okay.
get it down.
Can I just do a follow-up on what you just said?
About
So
the
you-
stations.
So you said that Puna Geothermal is the only plant that has perimeter monitoring.
To my knowledge, we're the only one that the air branch or the regulatory agency requires it.
So there are other
There-
stations that do monitoring at the source, right?
Oh, I'm sure. It depends on what kind of source you're monitoring.
So why is it that PGV doesn't do monitoring at the source?
We do monitor the source.
But that's not accessible to the emergency.
We do monitor the source, but it's not on a 24/7 basis. You know, when you think about emissions, like for example, nitrous oxide and sulfur dioxide, like the fossil plants emit, because they're emitting on a continuous basis, they do point source continuous monitoring. Our system is designed to be closed loop. And so periodically we do the source monitoring, but it has to go through a sampling system so that we don't release it to atmosphere.
So it would actually make sense to be source monitoring on a continuous basis.
It's something to consider, but it's only, I understand fully, if it's going to atmosphere continuously, it makes sense to be point source. But we're not going to atmosphere continuously. That's the difference, not supposed to.
So you don't do atmospheric source monitoring inside?
Oh, we do source monitoring inside for other safety and other maintenance activities.
So is that just portable or are those stationary?
Portable.
You have both.
We have both. We have, but the portable ones are the ones that, for example, if we have to like overhaul a generator that geothermal fluids is flowing through, we would isolate that equipment. We will de-inventory the geothermal fluids, and then we'd have to do a point source monitoring to make sure it's safe enough for the maintenance people to come in and take the valves apart.
But you have stationary atmospheric detectors.
We have stationary also.
So can you make those available to the community so that we know what's happening there?
You know, we can definitely consider that.
Good. Yeah, that's the conversation.
So you don't monitor what's coming out of the plant, you kind of assume that everything's going to be okay and you just check once in a while?
No. What is coming out of the plant is monitored 24/7 by these stations.
No, but not at the source.
No.
And as far as monitoring at the source, you only do that once in a while.
Monitoring at the source is not done because everything's enclosed.
You're assuming that nothing's ever going to go wrong.
Oh, when things go wrong, we have to go monitor at the source with our portable equipment.
You wait, if you know that something is wrong.
Yes.
When you say it's closed loop, but you've also said that the wells are not contained. So how can it be a closed loop if there's no containment?
What do you mean by contained?
Like when somebody asked a question about pumping the water into the wells, you said that it wouldn't actually act like dynamite because the wells aren't contained, right? So it's not really a closed loop system per se because those wells aren't contained, right?
So when we
your
say
injection well and your production well, they don't connect to each other. They're just both.
they do connect.
They do connect, but that's
It's
through
the
the
earth.
resource, right?
It's the earth, right? The earth, the whole earth is connected beneath us.
Right. But those actual wells don't touch. They're just connected in the resource, in the
Yes.
fluid. So it's
That's
not
the
technically
connection.
a full connection. It's just
That is
it's
the connection.
connected to the body of fluid that's there.
That's the connection.
What was that?
Okay. Hello, Sarah.
Hi, Mike.
Thanks for coming.
Sure.
So we're going through your questions.
Okay.
And you mentioned that you've been doing some investigation and you're aware of 5 people with knowledge of PGV taking radioactive waste. And you mentioned about an employee with some, I'm not familiar with the Hanford nuclear waste receptacles on the property
Okay.
and how they got there. So I or any of the staff is not aware of what this is referring to, but if you can ask those 5 people or that employee to come to me and provide more information, I'd be happy to follow up.
No, they're probably not going to want to follow up with you, but I'll make sure that, I can get,
Well, if they follow up with you and you
affidavits or
give me the
whatever.
information, sure.
yeah, I'll get more detailed
Okay.
information.
Okay.
That's interesting. Has anything ever been used? Has these wells ever been used for any kind of waste?
Hell no. Excuse my language. We are not allowed by the state DOH UIC to re-inject any kind of waste. No.
And how many gallons are you re-injecting currently?
I'd say 2,000, Zach?
2,300 gallons a minute.
So 2,300 gallons, or let's say 2,285 gallons is coming up, and 2,300 gallons is going down.
In what time period?
Continuously.
Hour
Per
or something?
hour, minute?
A minute.
Per minute. Yeah.
And where you actually re-inject that fluid, do you monitor that with like a PSI for the pressure?
Yeah.
So what kind of PSI pressure do you have in your re-injection cycle?
Well, the surface pressure on re-injection is typically
About 340 today.
340 psi at the surface.
Where is it when you actually,
It's about 600 feet down, so you can
6,000.
600, yeah, 6,000.
6,000, sorry. So I would say it would be around 600 to 1,000 psi. You can calculate that just by the height of the pipe and the weight of water. So I can't do it right off the top of my head. So 6,000 feet times a column of water, 8 pounds per gallon, gives you some downward pressure.
Hey, Mike, you do re-inject the waste from drilling, right?
What waste?
Well, we asked you questions before about what happens to the drilling fluids.
Okay.
You know, when you have drilling fluids, they go into that pond, that line pond, and then my understanding was you took that and you re-injected. Is that true or not?
So, no, not from the ponds. We clean up the ponds. Right?
How do you do that? What do you do?
There's equipment that you can run it through. It's sort of like a centrifuge, a shaker system. It takes all the solids out. But then the liquid would then be routed to re-injection.
Okay, and then the solids are...
So the solids are sent off to be analyzed to make sure there's nothing hazardous in it. And if not, then we can use it for road maintenance or growing plants or what have you. So historically, we have not had any samples returned with hazardous status. Is that right, John? Yeah.
But the liquids are re-injected.
The liquid is mostly water, and it's just the fluids from
But it would have whatever else you're treating with your drilling fluids, right?
So everything that we use for treatment has to be approved by the State Department of Health, the underground injection control folks. That's why we aren't allowed to re-inject hazardous waste, right? So anything or all of this treatment materials we use to re-inject is on an approved list. So it's also, you can look at the permit, it has the list of everything. Is it in the appendix, Ron, or is it an attachment?
I think,
Appendix.
yeah, I think it's not attached to the version.
Oh, okay, so it just references the appendix and then...
And then
I can get you the appendix if you're interested.
Yes, please.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Anna?
Yeah, and also, so other than the anti-corrosive that you'll be injecting, what was that other, you oxidized something?
Help me out, guys. What stuff do we use on a re-injection?
Isopropyl, pentane.
Oh, that's not, no.
It's
That's-
GG442 from Chemtree.
What is that used for?
It's the antioxidant.
Oh, so it's it's called GG442?
Yeah.
that's
Royal
That's
purple.
That's the
oxidant.
isopropyl.
Albert
It might have-
purple.
Does it have isopropanol around, GG442?
We test for that.
Yeah, we test for that on the re-injection. That was something that came out of the water analyses.
Yeah.
And EPA told us to test for it, so we test for it. GG442 sounds like a muscle car.
And pentane does get re-injected too.
Pentane does not normally get re-injected.
Well, not normally, but USGS, when they tested in 2015, they found pentane in the injectant.
Right, so if you read that report, it says which may have been from the plant or may be occurring naturally.
No, I'm not talking about when they tested other sources and they found, the breakdowns.
Yeah.
I'm talking about, they tested the injectate before it went down,
Okay.
and they found pentane.
Okay,
That's
maybe,
it.
I don't want to say yay or nay
Yeah.
because I'd like to see the report.
Yeah, take a look at it. It's in that 2015 report.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, point it out to me.
I'll find the page for
You email the appendix and then we'll shoot back the report.
I think you're,
you. Yeah, we'll
remind
share.
me to get the appendix. Yeah.
It's not the EPA
I know, but we'll help them out.
But you're talking the appendix, the 600-page appendix with no page numbers or a table of
We're
contents?
talking about the approved chemicals that can be re-injected.
Right, but you said it's in the appendix, is that the EIS appendix?
No, we're talking about the UIC. EIS is not in discussion right now.
EIS.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm late.
No worries. Okay, so, Sarah, the next question is
7.
6.
Oh, you already said nobody gave.
Okay, yeah, I answered that, thank you. 7, when is PGB going to share the seismic data? Okay, this is something Jen was asking about. From the array left by Catherine Kennedy. Right now, that data is not available to the public.
Where is the data and when can we have it?
I don't know what the data from Catherine Kennedy is.
She left it with you.
Okay,
You guys have had it this whole time. You refused to release it as proprietary.
and that's what it's going to remain.
Why?
Because it's proprietary.
Why? There's no other geothermal plant you're looking to find a resource to drill into. That shows you guys cracking your rock, and that shows the earthquakes from your cracking the rock from 2010 when she left through the 2018 eruption. It could show.
Listen, we're not going to share it unless
Is there a
someone
way that
hires me.
other like departments through the state economy can request that you release that? Like what avenues would we go through if we wanted to get that information released? Would we have to go to our county members? Would we have to go to the state, the Department of Health? Would we have to go to the EPA, the USGS?
So seismic monitoring is not a regulatory compliance that PGB has to perform. So I don't know of any agencies or authorities that would have the ability to make us share that.
Because they somehow didn't get.
So it would have to possibly be part of like a lawsuit.
We're
We would have to
doing-
find that we needed that
Okay.
information because of
This is-
possible gross negligence. That would be
I
the
guess that would be an avenue, because right now, this information, this data collecting has been done on our own initiative to understand what's going on in our home.
Can other
But
agencies,
why can't we understand
can
it?
other agencies collect the information and not make it public? Like, could the USGS, the EPA, the Department of Defense request it based
So-
on liability, but not release it to the public?
So I would presume, and I'm just
Sure.
trying to help out this situation, that maybe a third party could enter into an agreement with Dormat to look at it, but make sure it's confidential. But
Right.
then you guys would want to get information back, so I don't know how that's going to happen.
Sure. Okay, so.
USGS does seismic monitoring,
They don't have any monitors around you since 2018 eruption.
okay? So we're ahead of the game then.
Yes, that's why we need the data. They somehow write tangled tales to protect you guys. They write
Tangled tales.
reports that you had nothing to do with the eruption, with only examining the first 4 days. They didn't examine after you guys started injecting water. And then they relocated the earthquakes in 2020, and we see them come from under your plant.
Because it's
But
Patsy's
somehow you
data,
guys pay them off or something to not be interested in our.
because it's her data, can she request her own data that she collected through that research project?
Well, why don't you guys try that?
I'm just curious about.
Typically.
She talked to me one time, and then I have a feeling you guys got to it, because she said she was gonna check
Oh,
on it.
here's what usually happens in industry. If industry hires a consultant,
Yeah.
there's usually an agreement
For
to
sure,
keep
like a
the
non-disclosure
information,
or
a
whatever.
non-disclosure, exactly.
Okay.
There's probably one. I am not familiar with the details of the agreement that was made, but I would imagine we have something in place.
Does the data show that you folks are not causing earthquakes or any seismic activity?
I don't know the answer to
We
that.
don't have that data.
I would think if it did, then the use it to stop all that regulation.
Okay. All right, that's a good point. Okay. So, you're on a roll. And the next one is number 8. At the PGB meeting in April, Mike said he was waiting for permission from the county of Hawaii to sample the different fissures.
The stinky steam coming from fissures 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and 22.
Right. So we've been in discussion with the county, but we don't have permission to go out there.
It's your property line, you don't need permission. It's on your property line. You
Listen,
can send a drone to sniff it or something.
We're-
You guys just don't want to.
listen, we're considering it. You know what? And we need to, because I already talked with the staff, because we certainly believe that there is stinky gas coming out. Do you believe that?
Yes, and Fall County showed it, that it started subsiding. As soon as you guys turned on the power plant again,
Uh-huh.
the Fisher line started subsiding, and that is how the gases are coming out.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
It's directly related to your guys' operations. And the data, if you would show it to us, would prove that.
So, I'll have to follow up with the county. I mean, we were kind of waiting too for the road to open back up, so we can have access, better access.
No, your property line is closer to that Fisher line than the road. It's like right on your property line. That leads us to the next question.
Yeah, the next question is, will we allow the community to hike into those fissures? And we won't. The liability concerns.
Can they sign a form?
Yeah, but it's easy, it's right on your property, we could just go and pick it up, you don't even have to hike on it.
I know, but no matter what form is signed, someone gets hurt, guess who they're gonna go after?
Not if there's a document, that's what liability forms are for,
Yes.
to make it so that there's no one held on this. I mean, that's the whole point of liability forms. So even with the liability form, and even with the proper chains of command going through, you would not allow anybody to go onto the property,
Yeah.
correct?
No, we do that now, yeah, if you're not,
No, not the property, but what she's asking, to actually hike into the fissures.
but she's talking about going through our
Yeah,
property
going through
to
his
get.
property.
Correct. So you, even with the proper liability form saying that you would not be held harmless, which can be drawn up by a lawyer, very specifically showing that if somebody falls into one of your wells and dies, you're still not liable, you would not allow them to go through that actual step form to go across your property to go to fissures.
Yeah, so, I'd be willing to look at a document wrote up by some attorney and share it with our folks that would give us the
Okay, so the
yeah.
main issue is liability. So if you weren't liable for someone walking through, then you would allow them.
That's part of it, yes.
Okay, good.
What's the other part?
Well, there's an operating facility there, right? So we have
Right, you
to-
did tours of your facility already.
No, we do tours all the time. I never see you there, but,
Well, if I go there, I wanna have a reason, I gotta pick up some water samples.
okay, maybe one day.
We'll work on that liability.
Let me write that down so that I'm not surprised.
No, you won't be surprised, we'll be trying to.
Yeah, it's a hot day today.
You're in a hot spot.
I'm in the hot spot. We're all over the hot spot. We've been over the hot spot for millions of years. Okay, so I answered all yours, huh? Sarah? Thank you for your questions. Especially since it was one day ahead of the meeting, I had time to review it.
No, I know, I'm trying, I got other things to do too.
Yes, we all do.
Not like you know, you were focused on PGD.
Well, no, listen. I'm worried about my chickens, my dogs, my cows, my pigs. You know, animal food has increased 40% just before the COVID. It's crazy. But ask Ron, I bring in some nice
No,
chicken
I heard
eggs.
when you were doing your sustainable energy Hawaii talk, we couldn't hear you because every time you opened your
Geese.
mouth, yeah, you're wah, wah,
That's my friend.
you know, yeah.
So we're at a time where it's open. So we start off with you, Emily.
Yeah. So, you know, in May, when I went to Waimea and to the Hawaiian Games Commission meeting, and I saw it there on that commission.
Yes.
You know, so of course, I'm a prayer worker. And so, of course, yeah, I'm like, how come he's still here and then he's still here? Yeah. And there's a native Hawaiian and issues going down with my homestead. And I knowing about it because I live over there in Mapu'u. Yeah. And then I hear, oh, we're gonna go build geothermal on our Hawaiian homelands. I have issues because the last 35 years I had a father, a brother died in the land. Then we gonna put geothermal. I see war. I can see war. Okay. I'm sorry, but as a native Hawaiian, enough is enough. I am sick and tired of what's going on. Now Maui, right, all of this Smart City and all of this, Mana'o, a lot of, it's no good, a lot of stuff no good. And that's why it breaks my heart. When I saw you on my commission for the Hawaiian homestead, for our people, and you still here playing with the demons over here, and then you still over there on the commission. I don't know who will put you over there. And to me, as a native Hawaiian, been in Puna all my life, I'm 66, almost 67, and I know this place like the back of my hand. Yeah, and then it's like 5, 6 generations. We never just come around last year or 10 years ago. Yeah, so it's a big concern to me. I don't know if it's Josh Green or who will place you on that Hawaii Homes Company. Yeah, Mr. Ige? Yeah. So, you know, I don't know if they did any favor for my people. You, my people, too, brother, because you take for all. But, yeah, this is a heavy thing. Did the legislation say you guys can plug holes on all our homestead land? Is that where it came from?
No.
Who made that decision that you guys can plug all our homestead land? Who made it?
So,
Yeah, who the hell is he?
nobody made any decision to do anything yet.
Oh, okay, all in the Bala'au. Everybody said Bala'au.
Right, it's the early stage. So
Yeah.
you're going to have opportunity
Oh, I go in,
for beneficiary consultation. So
Yes.
start writing down your notes.
All right,
And
okay.
get ready so that when the department goes around asking for
Oh, man,
input,
fireball, it's coming.
you go.
You know why? Because I cannot see my people, like 35 years, 4 relatives died without a lot.
Okay.
And we're gonna pop this geothermal.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay, so
Yeah, it's a big
one,
concern.
I have one ask of
Yeah,
you. I have this young native Hawaiian who is working on his master's
yeah.
from UH Manoa.
And so what his problem?
He wants to do, no problem.
Okay. I'm talking for the concern of my
Yeah,
Hawaiian
no. This will give you an opportunity
Okay.
to share your concern.
Okay.
He's doing one report, because his report for his master's is related to geothermal. And he asked me,
Where they gonna put it?
no, if I can find people from Puna who'd be willing to speak with him.
What's his name?
His name is Noah Kamana.
Noah, H-K-A-M-A-N-A.
Yeah. But who gave him authority to be the guy, to be?
He's a student.
Yeah.
He wants to
as his
encourage his
thesis.
education.
As his thesis,
Yeah. So
okay.
he'll get all the money or whatever.
Right.
This is an opportunity.
Oh man, big opportunity.
Give me
because
your
we're not-
contact info, I'll
Yeah.
give them to him.
Yeah, because I'm not putting up with crap, I'm tired.
Okay,
I'm tired, I really am.
good,
When
perfect.
you come tired, you're gonna act stupid and act crazy.
Oh.
Just like I did in Zando Kern's office, you guys hear me. Promise to God,
Okay,
I'm not coming on just sleepy time and in high rage.
okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Geoffrey.
Yes, Jeffrey. Yeah, and what's just happened on Maui?
Yes.
Fires, and it had to do with the electric company and some other things. Well, when we had a Zell here we have a hurricane coming in. And you didn't shut the plant down, and the poles went down, and when the poles went down, you couldn't shoot the energy out anymore, so you blew it up into the atmosphere. So a lot of people in Leilani estates and around passed out of their homes. Lots of people. And it's because you didn't act. You did not act on an emergency with a hurricane coming in that blew the power poles over, and all the energy that you were producing all of a sudden couldn't go into the lines anymore, and you had to blow it off.
So what's your question?
Why didn't you act?
We did act.
No, you didn't. You act after the
You don't
event.
know what we did. We have emergency protocols. We have severe weather procedures that we are mandated to follow.
But you didn't follow it then.
We
You
did not shut down, you're correct.
Right, you didn't
Okay.
shut down, and it
And
poisoned.
one thing I want to be
my
clear
neighbors
here,
and friends.
one thing I'd like to be clear between us and everyone here. We don't know what went on at Maui, so to jump and say things happen and mention Hawaiian Electric, etc., we don't know.
Yeah.
That's still under investigation, so I'm not going there. Those guys are going through some hard enough time as it is.
Yeah, I will.
But getting to your point, we didn't shut down. Why? Because we need electricity when there's an emergency. What about the electricity for the hospitals, the stores that you gotta go and get, you know? What about all those people?
Yeah, but you know, every time a pole falls down and somebody hits it, you guys trip off lines. So why wouldn't you think when a hurricane's coming, all the trees are gonna blow down and the lines are gonna fall down, right?
So our procedure called for us to reduce our output. So reduce our output, we had double shifts to handle the emergency, right? So yes, the transmission lines went away. The plant did what it's designed to do, which is to release pressure to atmosphere. When that occurred, it was treated with sodium hydroxide to abate the H2S. Okay.
I thought there was a well failure, that's why you guys had a lawsuit.
It wasn't a
valve failed.
It was a valve failure, yes. It was a valve failure. We had consultants come in and they estimated that we released less than 100 pounds of hydrogen sulfide that was unabated. So there was that happened. So going forward in the future, any hurricanes, that's something that we work with Civil Defense. Even after Iselle, we got and did an after event review with Civil Defense and we modified our procedures. Now, would we shut down if another hurricane approached us? That's definitely a consideration.
The modifications that you made, is that public information to see what your emergency plan is in case another hurricane comes in the same similar manner?
Sure.
I mean, is that public or is it something you give request to?
No, it's
do?
public. You can go
Where is it?
online. It's the ERP.
So on the ERP, you go there and you look under
Look for
emergency plans for help, like weather specifically.
Severe weather, yeah.
And then it documents what PGV specifically does?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So if you can't find it, just ask Beth to call me or email me.
Okay.
Paul?
I have a question. So you said you were averaging about 17 megawatts.
Yes.
Now, you know, it's been a struggle since after the lava flow, you guys worked up to 24.
Yes.
Now you're at 17.
Yes.
And I guess you let the Power Commission know that it looks like you're going to have to renegotiate the PPA because you don't think you need it. So what's going on? How you know, I know you're trying to get to 38. How come you only 17?
So I mentioned we had 4 new wells that connected to the plant. We have 2 more that we are in the process of connecting. Of the 4 new wells, 2 of them have some issues in the well. One of them we know there's a tool that fell. It's called a pressure temperature tool. It's a long bar and it's connected by metal wire. That broke and fell in. So it's blocking the flow, which is reducing the amount coming to the plant. And that's why we're below the 25.
Didn't you go away from that? So that you didn't have to go with it anymore?
No, that one is a new well. We were doing a survey and the tool fell. But the location is different.
So you blocked it a little higher and then rebuilt it?
No, not that one. This is different. We were flowing this well. It was doing well. No pun intended. I think it was contributing around 8 megawatts or so. But because there's this blockage, it's only a couple megawatts today. So we are in the process of making plans to clean it.
So that kind of broke back down
Down to 17.
So you have 2 other wells that you're
Haven't connected.
Yeah, when you reconnect those, what do you do?
Well, we're hoping we can be closer to 30 with the 2 new wells. But then with the cleaning of the one that has the junk, we could be about 30.
And then you mentioned earlier that you're not planning on drilling in there for a while.
Right now,
Why are you not continuing? I know you say you don't continuously drill, but
Yeah.
from my perspective, you can do.
yeah.
So
In the long haul, we do.
Yeah, so you start taking a break, your drill rig is down.
Giving it a break, resting.
Why?
So what we want to do is connect the 2 new wells get it in service, evaluate how the plant performs, and then decide what our next step should be.
All right, but in order to get up to bid, okay, you're not really keen on getting up.
No, we are. We are. We just don't know what we'll get from the new wells yet. For example, when we first came online, we only had two production wells. They were both 30 megawatts each. So we don't know what this well will be, but we want to connect it, run it for a period of time, assess what the data we can look at, and then make a decision what the next steps will be.
I have another question, Dave.
All right. Okay.
A certain amount of electricity is generated every day. What percentage of that is done by your organization?
So today, before the eruption, we were 31% of the island. So today, at about 50% of 38 megawatts, I would say we're anywhere between 10 and 15%.
Country of Iceland is completely supplied with electricity by geothermal.
Yes.
Do they have similar problems?
It's a different kind of geothermal there. They're using like steam from like natural reservoirs from water. So their PGD is a different system. So their system is more efficient. That's why they can actually generate more energy. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Every facility has challenges. Every facility. If not, we go to that facility that has no challenges and we copy it and use it everywhere else, but we don't have that.
So is it possible someday all the electricity generated will be geothermal?
No. You cannot say no to possible, but it just wouldn't be prudent, right? Because in 2018, this facility got taken offline. So if it was all geothermal, we have that potential for all of the facilities to be taken offline. And we wouldn't want that. So it's best to have a mixed resource, wind, solar, hydro, geothermal.
So Iceland can do it, but Hawaii can't.
Hawaii,
The resource is different, yeah, the geology, the groundwater hydrology, all of it is different.
Hawaii can. It's just Hawaii is striving to do that. Hawaii can. It's not something that happens overnight.
So to meet your contract goals of megawatts produced, how many wells are you allowed to drill? Can you just continue drilling until you get to that number, or is there an actual fixed amount of wells that you're allowed to drill in order to try to achieve that number?
To 38 megawatts.
To 38 megawatts.
It's a total of 14 for 38
14 wells
Yeah.
is what you're allowed to have.
Past 14, you're on 22 already.
We don't go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11,
Well,
12,
you
13,
should.
14. We want to keep people thinking.
But so make it, I don't want to think that hard, so make it clear. So you're only allowed to have 14 wells and it's 38 megawatts.
Yes.
And how many wells do you have now?
We have 10. 10.
And is that just 10 active wells?
Yep.
Okay, so how many non-active wells do you have that you've had to abandon in the process of getting to the
All the years. Yeah.
All the years.
I think we've abandoned 3 or so.
It's 20 if you count the redrills.
We don't count redrills, right?
Yeah, I know.
We just count active wells.
So if you're drilling and it's not going to be successful, then you can just pull out.
It wouldn't count.
And it wouldn't count. So in theory, you could continue to drill as many holes as you want, as long as there's only 14 wells producing the 38 megawatts.
In theory, yes, but in reality, we wouldn't do that.
Because they're technically exploratory wells.
Because you're going to run out of area, it's exploratory, and there's only a finite space available. It's going to get to the point where, look, we tried that location already, right?
And when you find that a well is no longer in use for whatever reason, how are you then bringing that well to a dead phase? Are you refilling it with cement?
Yeah.
Are you refilling it with other items? How are you refilling
So
it?
there's a procedure that is referred to as plug and abandonment.
Right.
So the DLNR oversees that, the federal UIC people oversee that, and the state UIC. So it's very detailed, you go in down to the bottom, you fill them up with material, then you put a big bag of cement and check.
Does the cement have carbon in it as part of part of the agenda that EJ put through to take carbon and then put it into different forms of cement and then pretty much put that into the earth so that way it can, over centuries, recycle itself?
Oh, so you're talking about like carbon sequestration?
Correct. Yeah,
it
so
can be
we're
done.
using carbon sequestration
That
to,
can be done.
is that what's happening at
I don't know what the material makeup of the cement is.
Who knows that?
Our drilling folks, I can go ask.
No.
You want to know if there's carbon in
I want to
there?
know if you're doing carbon sequestering at PGV.
Yeah.
We are not sucking in air from atmosphere.
That's not.
Okay, we're
Yeah,
not doing
because-
that. Some people do that.
Yeah, because EJ put through an incentive saying that Hawaii is going to be as sustainable as possible, and with that, if we are going to use cement, if we are going to be using all of these different agents
Yes.
to build infrastructure, we will go ahead and use sequestering to actually help with the incentive to bring carbon neutral to current state
So there is that interest.
from every.
Yeah. So
Because they have to put it into specific packaging, or they have to go through a process to get it into the actual cement structure, and then by putting it into infrastructure or wells, then that meets the standard that that is a method to allow for that carbon to no longer be in a position where it can emit.
right.
So,
And so I'm familiar. I know they do it in Iceland. And so there's been talk about consideration for us to do it and we re-inject it because apparently carbon interacts with the basalt and the basalt, appears to like hold the carbon in place, to help with the sequestration process. And I don't know the details about that.
yeah, and I understand. I'm here just to give ideas of who to ask, because I know that you're in the middle of things. So I just want to know, who do I ask? How do I find out in the quickest, most efficient way if they're doing carbon sequestering at PGV?
Okay. So I'm the guy to start with.
So should I send you an email for that?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
Yes, Larry.
Yeah, I'm here to talk about the emergency response plan more than anything else, and also why PGV is keeping their seismic data proprietary.
Okay, you have 2 minutes, Larry. Come up here, you have 2 minutes.
Come up here, Larry.
We're gonna put you on video, you're gonna be a star.
I'm not interested in the video camera thing.
No, but we need you. Yeah,
No,
so the rest of the
Anyway, this is what I'm calling a smoking gun. This is the Google Earth image from May 22nd during the eruption, and it shows PGB wells where they were pumping water down. It shows all of the earthquakes in the whole area, including 37 right beneath where they were pumping, and then it shows the lava flowing out. It's like, that's exactly what turned the 2018 eruption into a small little eruption like 1955 into the biggest one in over 200 years. And that's why PGB will not allow any public monitoring of the seismicity. Every other geothermal plant in the world is thoroughly monitored seismically. PGB somehow, oh, we don't need that. Just like we didn't need any emergency planning in Maui. It's a disaster in terms of the government, in terms of, they pretend they have an emergency response plan. The emergency response plan, there's no roads, and they're pumping water. And this is still in the emergency response plan. When are you going to allow public safety monitoring for the sake of this island and its survival?
Thank you. So, just in general, anybody got any comments about emergency response plan like Larry does? Please send them our way, okay? And I'd like us to stay away from commenting about Maui. Those guys have challenges on their own. We don't know about what went on, so.
Do you guys have a response plan?
Yes, we do.
Set up.
Yes, we do.
What is it? Can you explain it to us?
It's called an emergency response plan. You should have got here on time. You would have heard everything.
Oh, traffic.
Traffic
Next day
is
you
me,
woke up
huh?
during traffic out? Meaning that you hold
I
them
see
to
the traffic when I go home.
You don't hold
every
them
day.
after 5 o'clock.
That was another
Leave at 3
request
o'clock.
that if in the future there's a way to have the meetings after, like school after traffic, like at 6.
This is
or
your
so.
guys' job.
No,
It's not mine.
listen, we do this voluntarily, okay? If you wanna make it,
Your
leave
bureau,
at 3.
your bureau, it's a yes or no question.
What's your question?
We have a situation here.
Yes,
I want to understand pentane.
okay,
During the 2018 eruption,
yes,
you had gigantic tanks of pentane on your property
okay,
that you wanted to leave there.
yes,
And if it wasn't for Tom, what's Tom?
Travis.
Travis.
yes,
You would have left them there. Now, okay, you have this giant tanks of pentane.
right,
As far as I understand, pentane is injected down into the well because it's an oil byproduct that you import.
okay,
So it's not green really and clean. So you're injecting an oil byproduct down into the well, and this oil byproduct, from what I understand now, hits this 2,000-degree rock and explodes and expands.
okay.
And it fractures the rock under the ground. And these fractures and what's going on with the pentane explosion, you then have these seismic activity that goes on. This is how I understand it to be
Okay.
working.
So-
And I think God has to, if you inject pentane, it's going to explode.
Okay.
You're going to create a situation under the ground.
So you're asking me, do we inject pentane?
Yes.
Okay, the answer is no.
No, you don't.
So let me explain how we use the pentane so you have a better understanding. Pentane is a hydrocarbon. We get that as a byproduct of when the refineries, when you refine crude oil,
Right.
pentane is one of the byproducts.
Right.
So you get diesel fuel, you get unleaded fuel, you get jet fuel, you have all these different products. Pentane is one of those byproducts.
Right.
Pentane has a low boiling point. And the system that we utilize is referred to as the organic Rankine cycle, ORC, right? So what that entails is that heat will be transferred from the geothermal heat, the geothermal fluid, through heat exchange process like a radiator. It'll heat up the pentane. The pentane will flash to a vapor. When it's in a vapor state, it has energy and it can perform work. The pentane would then be directed to a turbine, which is connected to the generator, which makes electricity.
Okay.
The exhaust pentane goes through an air cooler that condenses it back to a liquid. So the pentane cycle is closed loop.
Okay.
It's designed to be closed loop. Starts as a liquid, you pump it through heat exchangers to heat it up. It vaporizes, it has energy, it performs work. After it does the work, you cool it back to a liquid and it starts the cycle all over again. Nothing goes, now unless there's a problem, nothing is designed to go into the geothermal resource. Okay, does that make sense? Next time I'll bring a nice drawing about it, a process flow diagram. I think we did it in a previous meeting,
Right, but the problem is,
but we
like,
didn't have one this time.
what's the problem when it gets injected?
Actually, let me just say, if any is injected, it's minute amounts. That's not gonna cause
It
it.
can't be that minute, they just found it in the water testing.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. They found it in that 2015.
Right, they're trying to say, oh, it's not,
But-
it
so
could
is
be
it-
naturally
but that's-
occurring, but you
but-
just said
but
you're
it's
making it
not-
out.
But it's not like
Lemon
the pumping
pop.
pentane in. But as you know,
Yes.
EPA made a emergency proclamation, and to move the pentane, right?
Okay.
There was 60,000 gallons of pentane
Okay.
at the plant. And he said at his press conference that if that pentane explodes, it'll have a 1 mile explosion radius. Okay? And the concern, also stated at that press conference, was that it would blow off the tops of the wellheads, and then we would have basically, right now you have 10 wells. If that happened today, we could have 10 wells open venting. So that's the danger of the pentane, is that it'll cause an explosion that'll make the wells uncontrolled. And so I guess my question is, what have you learned from that process? Because you weren't moving the pentane, that's why EGA did the emergency proclamation.
So we moved it to higher ground, right? In the end, no, immediately. Immediately we moved it up to higher elevation because we were thinking, you've been on our facility, right?
Yeah.
We were thinking if the lava's gonna come up to the top of that pool, everything's in a bad way out in Puna, right? But Governor, Mayor said, no, we want you guys to move it outside. So we complied. We did that.
And that's when these
When you-
earthquakes started too.
So when you talk about, Paul, when you talk about the 1 mile radius, pentane is a regulated chemical by the EPA. So we have to comply with certain programs. The risk management plan, for example, is one. What's the other one? Is that it? Hazard assessment. So we do what is referred to as a OCA, off-site consequence analysis. Right? And what this OCA does, it assumes that all 60,000 gallons is in one vessel, right? And it assumes that you have an ignition that ignites all 60,000 gallons. And then they look to see what happens at certain distances. And their criteria is to increase the air pressure by 1 psi. And 1 psi increase would like break windows homes. And that's where this 1 mile comes from. I don't know where people got, it would shear all the wellheads off. I don't know.
That was down there in the press conference, I have a news article.
Oh, no, and I don't know how that came through, because I do know in our emergency response plan is we disconnect the wellheads and we cover it, right? We cover them with cinder and everything, so.
If you have time.
If we have time. But then again, if we don't have time to move the pentane, then we're in a bad situation.
So would you share that off-site consequence analysis?
It's
I
on the
think-
website.
Yeah, it's on our website
It's
too.
the ERP on the website.
It's with the ERP.
Correct.
It's like a part of the ERP.
It's all one
OCA.
folder of just
For pentane.
everything.
Thank you.
Sure.
Corey, I love your questions.
So, do other geothermal plants do seismic monitoring?
Oh, I would imagine they do, but I don't have detailed information about it. I can go ask in the industry, yeah. I can ask.
Do they share the information with the public?
I don't know that either.
You can look them up online. There's tons of
They
them.
do.
And do they share their
Right
information?
with USGS all over. Or else like Texas has TextNet, there's Forge in Utah.
They share the information?
Yes, it's real time, you can see it as nothing fractured.
In the April meeting,
Yes?
you said that there were numerous residential areas around geothermal plants, so I went on the internet to try to find that, and you said you provide some pictures with that?
Oh, yeah. So you didn't attend the June meeting, huh? We had a June meeting for the
Okay.
But if you share a contact or email, I can send you.
Well, do you remember off the top of your head how many there are? Because
Well-
I think that's really what's happening here is you know, the geothermal's been around for a long time in
Yeah.
a lot of different countries, but how many of them really are planted next to residential areas? Because I'm real concerned about getting out of here, you know. And we only have one way in and one way out. I know that's not your Kuliana.
No. I share your concern. I mean, and it doesn't have to be just because of geothermal, right? It can be out of any natural disaster.
Exactly,
Yeah.
like Azelle, you know.
Yeah, or the eruption.
Yeah,
So-
right, exactly, so.
But to answer your question, yeah, we have sister plants in Nevada.
And how far are they, because
Well,
according
right
to-
across the street is like a shopping mall, and right up the street is an elementary school.
But you can't compare it to Nevada because you said in that meeting that we're volcanic. And they're on the tectonic plate.
But
Is
they're
that
still,
correct?
they are still a geothermal facility, and they still have the resource, has some
But are they
semblance
using-
to
Are
ours.
they using a contained contained method? or
Everything's
straight?
contained, yeah.
It's contained, so we're not contained is what you
We're all contained. I don't know of any geothermal facility in the US that isn't contained. All of them,
But you said we're contained or we're not?
we're contained.
Okay, then I wrote my notes down wrong.
What's your name?
It just depends.
I was gonna give you a prize.
It just depends on who you are.
I got a prize, what's that fan? Yes, sir. This is my old friend here.
Jim Albertini.
Jim Albertini, how you doing,
This is the
Jim?
first geothermal meeting I've been to in years.
Oh, thank you.
I don't know when you started working for PGV. What year was that?
When it started.
1991.
Oh, 91. Then you've been around for a long time.
Yeah.
4 years.
I was there.
Our Big Island Rainforest Action Group and the Pele Defense Fund met weekly here.
Right.
And we organized, of course, huge protests to stop the 500 megawatts of geothermal by true geothermal in the forest.
Well, a couple mentioned that at our draft EIS public
Now,
meeting.
the point I'm going to make on that one is that was going to be exported to Oahu, so Waikiki could look a little more like the Vegas Strip. And then Pele went through the forest, would have cut that 500 megawatts off. We didn't receive one thank you note from anybody on Oahu for stopping that.
Because he took away the glamorous Waikiki Strip.
But anyway, a couple questions here.
Yeah.
I remember in the original EIS for PGV, liability policy was 20 million.
Okay.
And yet, they said in a worst case scenario, major quake, shearing off the wells causing uncontrolled venting that couldn't be capped, would create 6-mile diameter permanent evacuation zone in the value of hundreds of millions of dollars.
Okay.
What's your liability policy today? How much is it?
It's still the same requirement.
20 million.
25, I believe.
So what that means is that if people are stuck, like Lahaina, people are stuck, your insurance doesn't cover it, and the county and the state will be held liable for your damage. And one other point. I saw in this, the reason I came out is because of this newspaper article Thursday about the major geothermal expansion. And Lorena Noy's pictures in the paper. She was mayor in 1991.
Yes, she was.
When there was a blowout here.
Yes.
KSA, wasn't it?
Yes.
And they brought in the experts to look at that well. They said that well is so damaged it should never be reopened. But Lorena Noy made the decision to allow you to reopen that well to put the financial interest of PGV ahead of the health and safety of the community. That was shameful, and that shows you the kind of politics and what PGV, you should have had the principle to say, no, we're not going to open it up.
Okay.
But you didn't. So your trustworthiness is down, down, down.
Thank you. So what's your question?
My question is, when are you going to increase your liability policy? When are you going to start having respect?
You're basing the liability policy
take that shirt
on
off.
the 1987
That Israeli
EIS.
shirt, that's an insult.
Here's what I suggest, Jim. We're updating our EIS, okay? We're updating it. You're referencing something from decades ago.
But your insurance policy
Let's
is
look
the
for it.
same.
No,
What is your insurance policy?
it's adequate.
It's 25.
What's your
I
insurance
said we have an
policy?
umbrella policy of 25 million.
Oh,
Well, listen, all big companies have hundreds of millions of dollars.
you
in
only had
insurance.
20 million.
It's only for this facility.
You had 20 million when the damage was hundreds of millions.
Okay.
So
Thank you, Jim.
we don't trust you. That's what
Okay,
the
I
point
appreciate
is.
that. Thank you.
And you shouldn't be operating.
You got a question, Keone?
Yeah, so did you guys hit the 30 megawatts that you guys wanted to hit?
Not yet.
Not yet, but you guys are asking for 45.
45.
Well, oh, 46, I'm sorry, 46.
Yeah.
Well, 60.
Yeah, we're working our way back. Still
You guys
trying.
couldn't even hit 30, but you want 45.
We're still trying. We came in at 38 before the eruption. And that's why we want to go to 46.
Well, you came in for 38.
We were at 38.
Caused the fissures, and now you guys want 45.
We didn't cause the fissures.
Well, we won't know that because you won't let us have the seismic data.
My friend from Massachusetts had his hand up next.
Well, an immigrant to Hawaii, happy to be here. To cover costs, how many megawatts do you have to produce a day to break even?
I don't know what that number is.
So it's a profit-making venture.
Profit is reasonable, but we're not at full capacity, so we're suffering. My friend from Nana Valley here. Yes, Miss has her hand up.
Do you, with all the monitors, I know that you within the facility have way more monitoring systems than we are privy to, but do you monitor for mercury emissions?
You monitor it?
Mercury
No, that's
emissions?
No, we test for it in condition 20s. Yeah, we don't have equipment that monitors for mercury emissions,
Okay.
but we test the resource as to what concentration of mercury might be in the resource.
Okay,
Naturally.
so when you're drilling a new well, whatever the exploratory procedure is, you're looking at what the core sample is or whatnot, and then you're analyzing that to see if there's any heavy metals to include mercury.
We analyze for heavy metals, yeah. There's mercury, there's arsenic, there's lead, there's cadmium. It's all stuff that naturally occurs in a geothermal resource.
Yeah.
And we do that actually when the well is in service, because then we can grab a representative sample.
And then the report from whatever
Those
the
monitoring.
analysis is that given to the Department of Health? Is that
Yes,
just what
Department of Health, Clean Air Branch.
And that's the once a month report?
No, it's 6 months, sometimes annually, depending on the results.
So even though it's not testing emission, it's just testing what the actual possible metals are, and it's still in the air
Because,
branch?
yeah, because we're not emitting 24/7, right?
Well, it would be the metals that would be emitted, so. But I was just trying to get clear on what department, so the
Yeah,
department.
it's the air branch.
And then to request that information, is that something that would be like through a Freedom of Information Act, or is that something that they, and you might not know this, but do they actually put up the information of what those reports are showing publicly?
I'm not certain, I've never looked it up myself.
Yeah, I was looking it
But
up and
most-
just can't find the reports anywhere,
Yeah.
so I would go and ask
I
the
just
department.
call them,
Yeah.
call the air branch and say you're interested in the results of whatever testing,
Okay.
and just say, hey, how can I get it?
Do you use any analysis of if there are mercury deposits to analyze if there is any thermal resources in that area? Other countries that have geothermal, that's one of the methods that they use to analyze finding geothermal resource is through mercury deposits themselves.
Oh, I have not heard of us or MAD using that technology.
Okay.
Do you have anybody, a compliance officer or anybody that checks for hydrothermal alterations? You know, I know that we had discussed in June, the fluid that you're extracting otherwise would never come to the surface, right? And the fluid that you're re-injecting, because it's only re-injected into the actual resource, that it creates a circulation underground.
Okay.
And that circulation is known to create hydrothermal alteration, which turns the rock to clay, which could be one reason why we're seeing the subsidence on the site. So has anybody looked into that?
Not to my knowledge, I'm not familiar with that.
Not familiar with that? Okay. Well, it's also noted that hydrothermal alterations can destabilize the entire area. And so I
Okay.
think that information would be important.
Yeah.
So would ORMAT be willing to have somebody, even a third party, look into?
I'd be willing to share that concern and that question and to see what steps can be taken to address.
Because does
I don't know.
USGS come on site and do any analysis of the geology as part of this like a regulatory
They have.
but do they have it as like a regular check-in?
So they have a monitoring device on our location.
Right, they have the one,
Yeah,
right?
they have that one. They do that on a regular basis. But
What monitor?
from time to time, they have gone out to the fissures and grabbed samples and that sort of
So
thing.
USGS has a seismic monitor
It's not,
on your facility.
I wouldn't call it a seismic monitor. It's
It's
like a
GPS.
GPS tilt meter. That's
At any point, did USGS come on to the PGV site and install 4 monitors on the actual location?
I don't remember. I mean, they may have installed equipment during the eruption,
So
but
there's,
not. I would know because they go through us, right? If they
Yeah.
wanted to put equipment on.
supposedly USGS came on site and put in 4 seismic monitors on site. So that way, just like other geothermal plants, there could be public awareness of the seismic activity. But then those, as soon as they were put on, they were removed by PGV. And because they were, again, part of an incentive to almost only kind of donate them. There was no one to follow up, and then that geologist ended up leaving USGS. So I'm following up with that geologist, but I was just wondering if
Yeah,
you,
follow up with that geologist.
so you don't remember at any point someone
No,
coming in and
here's
installing
what I think really happened,
Okay.
is that we had the seismic stations installed. We were decommissioning and not planning to use it any further, so we offered to turn it over to USGS, not USGS to us, so.
Okay.
Follow up with whomever your contact is.
Yeah, because what we really want is we just want seismic monitors on PGV site that's giving as far as what kind of seismic activity, small, big, whatever is happening, and linking that to USGS so it's part of their system and public awareness. That's what we really want. So how do we do that? I mean, is it USGS that we would go talk to, and then we would encourage them to actually install them, and then they would go through you to get that approval?
Yes.
Okay.
So USGS has the authority to put seismic monitors on the PGV site.
Well, with
If
permission.
they have a reason and
Yeah.
a permission, sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Mike, I have a question. So, I just wanted to ask you, 1991, when the geothermal, I think it was June.
June 8th.
Yeah, when the bug was popping out
Bug was
and
popping.
couldn't stop. Yeah. What caused that to happen?
So when we drill, we pump fluid into the well, and the fluid has a certain weight, right? And what had happened is we encountered the steam pressure at a shallower depth, and the amount of water and pressure was less than what the pressure was there. So that pressure pushed the water out, and that's what happened.
So the water was shooting out.
Was shooting out.
So the only reason why I want to ask you about that, because that's when my kid, now 32 years old, went to hospital. And because in 1976, I had one kid die from whooping cough. And then this is my second kid now, 1991. That's why I want to ask you what happened.
Yeah.
Because when we did go down to the plant and protest, and I remember I came out of the hospital with my son, I went down there with all my hippie people, and then, you know, so I really would deck somebody across the head.
I remember that day.
I would slam down him right across the
yeah.
head, because when I said my key was hospitalized, I started to giggle. And he
I
would
remember.
giggle at the wrong lady, and I just slammed down his head.
I remember, Emily.
And the very next day, we went to the mayor's office, and that his brother was speaking. You know, Lorraine Inouye was on me.
She was the mayor.
She would arrest us again at the end of the day.
She was the mayor. Harry was civil defense. Harry King.
Yeah, so you know, this thing been going on so long, so much here, yeah. And so my manao is because a lot of my native people don't come talk. Yeah, you look around, you see it, they're not here. And because they, you know, I learned all my ropes from my Howard friends and thank you friends. And, you know, to stand up for righteousness. That's why when all of these things been going on and it hasn't stopped, Mike. That's why when I look at you and to see you as the whole state commissioner, and then I see over here you're in two different waters. And so that's why I put it, Emily, something going on over there, what's going on?
We're trying to help out the Hawaiian homestays.
Yeah, and so you gotta remember what you think going to help and what we think going to help is two different manao.
Yeah.
If this goes into the Hawaiian homestead, are you going to be then willing to monitor the hydrogen sulfide gas at the source and also put in seismic monitoring?
No, I don't know. It's, what's being shared with that report and the interest is just the very beginning stages. It's too early.
I mean, this is real. Those conversations have been going on for quite some time.
Not on
It's not-
DHHL lands, though.
That's not necessarily true. I mean, it's been going on a couple of years, at least that I'm aware of, that these conversations have been going on, that they've been discussed in Sustainable Energy Hawaii, Zoom conferences and calls. They've been targeting Hawaiian homelands first. They've been exploratory drilling. They're already
sit on
doing
the
it on
board for
Mauna
Hawaiian
Kea.
homelands?
They're already doing it on Haleakala. They're looking at West Maui volcano.
So here's what I can share. If a resource, a viable resource, is discovered on Hawaiian homelands, a developer and the Department of Hawaiian Homelands will have to comply with all of the regulatory requirements
First of all, we need to
Identify.
Yeah, but they're going through the same stage you're going through with start working, which is why we're gonna start going through the county and.
So that'll be the time for comments to be taken and say, oh, look, we talk about ORMAT PGV, we want something different. That's the time to
Is
jump in.
ORMAT up for a contract if geothermal does move to these other sites? That there's already been plenty of studies that I've been reviewing to show that there is a lot of potential for thermal geophysical resources. Is ORMAT up for the contract for that? Does it
No,
create
there's,
an open contract?
ORMAT's, the only business ORMAT has today is at PGV, and we're trying to increase the output from 38 to 46.
So it would be a different company that would come in to do
Yeah,
geothermal other workplaces?
We don't, it
So
could-
when you're talking with these individuals, are you just coming in from a place of opinion, or are you coming from your other position?
no, this is a PGV meeting. This is not a Department of Hawaiian Homelands meeting.
No, I understand. I'm just wondering if ORMAT
Yep.
is going to have any potential to get any contracts for these possible geothermal sites in the future.
So I cannot comment on that because I gotta recuse myself because I'm in the business, right?
So, Mike, wouldn't they put it out to bid for a contract? It could be ORMAT or it
Could be anybody.
Anybody.
That's my question. I just want to, thank you for clarifying.
But it would be the same sort of geothermal process that would also bring pentane to those sites.
Not necessarily, not necessarily.
So
Depends on the developer. So if a developer like PGV or ORMAT utilizes the pentane system, the organic Rankine cycle, it could be something similar. There are other technologies that geothermal developers use.
Mike, I still have a question.
Yes.
It's gonna sound like I'm giving you a free pass,
Don't give me a free pass.
but it's for your technical guy.
Yes.
operation. So since the drilling stopped.
Yes.
Recently, we've been noticing in the horn noise, there's been like an oscillation, maybe a ringing to the, maybe the fan noise.
Yeah.
Do you have any procedures when you monitor for that kind of thing and to get rid of it? And you know what I'm talking about, right? It's like you've got a noise, and it's a basic hum, and then it sort of sounds like a beeping at about maybe 2 cycles per second. But it's not the beeping, it's not like beep, 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 but it's a...
Yeah, so we don't have any staff that are like noise.
Nobody's paying any attention to that.
Well, what's being monitored for noise is at the stations.
Right, and that's average, but this is on a pretty high frequency.
Yeah, no one has done
And
anything.
presumably, it's just this equipment that's oscillating at a similar frequency, but not quite.
And more than likely it would be the fans, because that's what we have the most of that's rotating.
So, given that that is a nuisance, what would people want to do?
Well, is it nuisance meaning that it exceeds our noise levels that we're allowed to generate?
It's not just about the noise level, it's about, it's a particular frequency where the oscillations are coming together. And it's like you know, it sounds almost like, you know, when a big truck is backing up.
Oh, okay.
Right?
It's probably not about that.
And so it's a nuisance from that point of view. I mean, since, you know.
You hear that every day?
Depends on the wind.
The wind. Because I mean, it's something that in-house wouldn't be able to assess or evaluate, but we have contractors, we have the acoustical engineer types that could help us out in that. And for something like that, we'd be willing to do that.
The noise is considerably less than when it's drilling, but it's a different kind of noise.
Okay.
And it has been noticeable for some weeks.
Okay. We'll take that into consideration with our acoustical engineer. Keone.
So, you sit on the board of Department of Hawaiian Homelands?
I'm on the commission.
You're on the commission. Do you own stock in ORMAT?
No.
No? No stock in ORMAT? People?
So what's your question about PGV?
Oh, just asking, yeah, if you have stock in ORMAT.
No, I didn't buy any stock.
Okay.
Do you?
No. I don't believe in ORMAT. I don't believe in this geothermal.
Okay, thank you.
You're
Yes,
welcome.
yes.
Okay, so you said they lease 815 acres.
Yes,
And you use only 40 acres, and then I understand that this started in 1991.
yes,
When Lorraine Inouye was the mayor.
yes.
And you've mentioned in other meetings that the lease is privately held by a private landowner in Puna.
Yes.
And what was his job for the county back when this lease was agreed with you, PGV? I mean, who was the planning director? Harry Kim was civil defense, and was your landlord the planning director?
No, not when our landlord, the landlord who manages the property was at one point the planning director.
Okay, and was that before or after you guys started
It
operating?
was before. He was the planning director before.
Before, a year before?
Several mayors, I don't know exactly when, I don't know if it was was there a Mayor Matayoshi? I mean, listen, we need the Kupunas over here to come here. It was much before Lorraine.
It was when they did HGPA. So he was the director of planning. They had no permits for HGPA. They were open venting. And he was the director of planning.
There you go.
And it was his land.
Right, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so you know, it's all sort of interconnected, because Lorraine Inouye is our senator. I mean, it just goes on and on without checks and balances.
So there's a master's thesis.
No, we got mail-in ballots, you know, here. We were supposed to be the first one. Look, I'm going off subject, I'm sorry.
So I would say
sorry.
anyone who's interested in that period should read Annie Savetitz. She wrote a master's thesis called Geothermal Production and Promotion in Hawaii. You can Google that. And
What's her name?
My name's Paul Hagedal.
No,
Her name is Annie Sebowitz. But if you Google geothermal production and promotion in Hawaii, that thesis will come up.
Okay.
Right on. Okay, you guys.
Thank you.
Just one last.
Thanks, Mike.
He said if there's development on Mauna Kea, it will follow all the same regulations and so forth as PGV has followed. But following those regulations has brought us the blowout, the gassing of people during the sale, the danger with contained.
So
your remarks did not reassure me.
okay, so listen to this remark. If a developer ever is in the position to develop on Hawaiian homelands, it gotta be a beneficiary consultation, a community outreach, a public meeting forum. That's the time, okay, to get your reassurance. Go up there and say, listen, we don't like you to be like PGV.
We've been doing that for years over here already. That's didn't help.
They're already making it emergency greenhouse gas, and we got a global warming. We need to get our sustainable, renewable, firm, green, geothermal plants on all volcanoes.
Thank you, Sarah. But again, thank you guys all for coming out. We'll be around. We'll be cleaning up and stuff. If you guys just want to ask questions on the side, we'll be happy to talk some more story. I know Jen's got to leave soon.
There's 20 minutes.